Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Bangor. I'm Reverend Drew, and it is really good to be back. This is actually, I think, technically my second Sunday back from sabbatical, but first Sunday of the beginning of our program year, so yay! What a wonderful way to start off our beginning of our program year then with our annual water communion ceremony. It is wonderful, wonderful to be here. Before we begin, I want to invite anybody who is joining us today for the first time, whether you're here in the sanctuary or whether you're online, a hearty welcome. Welcome, and we're happy that you are joining us. If you're here in person after the service, we hope that you will join us for refreshments and conversation, because if you haven't already figured out, we like to talk. Right? We like to talk to each other. What a wonderful countercultural thing that is these days. So before we get started, I want to invite John to bring our morning announcements.
Thank you, Reverend Drew. Those of you who have young ones are encouraged, if you have not already done so, to register your family for the UUSB Spiritual Exploration Experience. You may do so by scanning this handy barcode or seeing Karen Childs. Now, in addition to encouraging you to register, Karen reminds me that we still need teachers for the older young people, 7th and 9th grade and 10th to 12th grade. So if you're willing to help instruct older UUs, please see Karen and volunteer. Today, our second Sunday food collection will take place from 11:30 to 12. Robin Wood will offer a chime concert. Rumor has it she's prepared a Taylor Swift medley, so don't miss that. All food collected will be given to the Ecumenical Food Pantry in Bangor. Now, the main UU Social Advocacy Network, Moosahan, wants to know, what social justice issues do you care about right now that would spur you to take action? After the service, please see Suzanne Kelly if you need a survey card, or please drop your answers in the survey box, which will be right here on your way out or in the Dorothy after the service. Next Saturday, please visit the Dorothy between 8 and 2 to pick up some quality pre-owned books, CDs, and DVDs in the first annual UUSB book sale. Donated items are still welcome. Please drop your donations next to the coat rack in boxes or bags clearly labeled book sale. Now today, in the interest of time, we will not be having joys and sorrows, and we will not be having an offertory. And in fact, we don't really need any more money this year. So, what?
Let's not go overboard here, John. We are in good financial shape because of the commitments that people have made with their pledges to our community, and we wish that to continue, and we never, ever want to cut off people's generosity.
This month, half of the undesignated funds in the plate collection, oh, by the way, on your way out, we've left some baskets for your convenience next to the exit. Half of the plate collection undesignated will go to support the Hemophilia Alliance of Maine, who advocate on behalf of people with bleeding disorders and provide tools, training, and resources to educate Maine's care providers on bleeding disorders and to assist people in receiving the care they need. With that, please sit back and enjoy the introit by the UUSB choir. I beg your pardon, Reverend. Yeah.
I'm going to stay with the pulpit mic here, yeah. Before we get started, although we're not doing Joys and Sorrows, many people have been asking about Bruce Hautila, and I just wanted to let you know that Friday he was transferred from St. Joseph's to Northern Light, where he was able to get the surgery that he needed. And I talked to Marge this morning, and apparently he's come through that surgery and is on the mend right now, but he still has a long road ahead of him in getting healthy. But I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on, because we all love Bruce. So as we get ready for the introit, let's all just take a moment to pause, take a couple deep breaths, and come into this space. Relax, feel the humidity, feel the energy, feel the excitement and the moments when you feel the little breeze passing by from the fan as it's oscillating your way. And know that each and every one of you are welcome here, just as you are.
This morning, our chalice will be lit by Tim Martin. To a reading by Katie Gelfand, The Spirit of Water. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. Please join me now in our opening hymn, number 210, Wade in the Water.
See them and all dressed in
At this time, Reverend Du will lead us in a time for all ages and invite the young people and the young at heart, please come on down and make yourselves comfortable on our beautiful UU rug.
Good morning. It's so nice to be here with our young folks again. And some of you I have not seen in a while, some of you I have seen recently, but it's so nice to have you here. So today I want to tell you a story about two rivers. Once upon a time, there were two rivers, and they really liked to argue with each other about who was the best. They may have been sisters or brother and sister or some kind of combination thereof. They seem to really get into this. The water in my river is better than the water in your river, said one. No, the water in my river is much better than the water in your river, the other said. The two rivers would flow along all day, arguing back and forth. Who was the best? Both were quite sure that they were the greatest. Doesn't my water make a joyful sound as it runs over the smooth pebbles polished at the bottom of my stream? Look at the way the sun reflects on the colors and ripples off the eddies around the big, huge boulders in the middle. These are so beautiful. It must mean that I'm the best river, said the first. The other river replied, but look at all the fish that swim in the deep, cold water of my stream. Have you heard the frogs chirping at night? They live in the reeds and the lilies that are on my banks. I am home to so many wonderful creatures, and that is why I am surely the best river. The two continued to argue until one day something strange happened. An unexpected thing. The rivers rounded a bend and it slid down some small falls, and then suddenly they were flowing towards something greater, something bigger than themselves. Up ahead was a big, huge body of water with crashing waves all over it. Water was everywhere as far as they could see. They continued to rush faster and faster and faster until the water from both rivers turned together in the vastness of the ocean. Then a sound came, nobody is sure where from, but it chuckled for a moment and then said, "Now see how foolish you have been arguing who is best. There is no highest or lowest. There is no greatest or least. All things are joined together like the river and the rivers joining the sea." Yeah, so what do you think of that story? What is that story about? Everything is special, right. So does that mean that you're special? We're both special. Yeah. So everybody, no matter where you meet them, whatever their life circumstances, what they look like or how they act and whatnot, we still have some wanting to treat people with respect and kindness because they're special, right? Even sometimes people don't always treat us kindly, but they're still special, right? So that is kind of the message of today and the message of our water communion today about all coming together. We're going to hear stories later on of people's experiences over the summer about some of the things that make them special. And I hope that you're able to come forward and share some of the things that you did this summer so we can learn about what makes you special too. So, thank you. To Suzanne and Sue Owen for folding up our rug there, and thanks for Jack for being so impromptu. I love it. It's nice to have a skilled musician. Today we gather at the beginning of a program year, and in doing so we join with many of our sibling Unitarian Universalist congregations around North America by engaging in this unique Unitarian Universalist ritual of water communion. The ritual that we practice today is a variation of a ritual that began 43 years ago when two women, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview, were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation for Unitarian Universalists, which is a lot to say all in one breath. In creating that service, Carolyn McDade and Longview wanted to create a new ritual that, quote, spoke to our connectedness to one another and to the totality of life and our place on the planet. They included a symbol of women's spirituality, water. They wrote, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is an element, it is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came, it is the womb of life. It is the amniotic waters that surround each of us prenatally." We then realized that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We chose water as the symbol of that empowerment. Since that time, many Unitarian Universalist congregations celebrate this ritual on the second Sunday of September, and we offer our gratitude to Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview for bringing this ritual into being. Entering into this fall season and a new congregational cycle means many different things to each of us. For some, it means new beginnings. Maybe you're starting a new school or going to school for the first time. Maybe you're starting a new job or entering into retirement. Perhaps you're moving into a new home or awakening to a new spiritual understanding or a new phase of life. As we move through these experiences, or we become familiar, or as we move through these new experiences or continue familiar patterns, this water communion provides us with a moment to pause and to remind ourselves of the miracle of being alive, and to deepen our interconnectedness, symbolized today by the life-giving sustenance of water. Water communion also provides us with a space to remind ourselves of our own vulnerability, of needing to be nourished and supported by the moisture of this beloved community, of needing to be nourished and supported. And it reminds us that at times this beloved community can be just as nourishing to us spiritually as water is to us to our bodies. In preparing for the service, I am deeply aware of how important it is to speak of interconnectedness at this time in the history of civilization. Today, I'm aware that millions of people around the world are displaced by forest fires and other natural disasters. I am aware that beautiful and amazing people in our own country are not afforded the full privileges of being themselves because of discrimination based on race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or immigration status. People who can bear children are denied access of freedom to choose what happens to their bodies, while others who are born into difficult economic situations are left to struggle to overcome overwhelmingly oppressive odds to provide for themselves and their families. And today, in our country that espouses freedom of thought, there's a strong movement to ban books and information that may help people affirm and discover who they are or become aware of past harms that others have propagated in the name of progress, faith, and greed. Tomorrow, we will collectively mourn and remember the losses of September 11th terrorist attack that took place 22 years ago. And we cry at the harm being inflicted by our democracy as laws are being passed in many states to suppress voting rights. Things are hot and getting hotter. What we need is a soothing balm of life-giving moisture, water, to help soothe our souls. We don't need it in torrents of downpours that run off. What we need is that constant and steady rain that saturates and nourishes our souls slowly and steadily, that allows us to absorb new wisdom that we need to grow in our values of equality, justice, kindness, and freedom, and that leads to transformation with our hearts so that we can move into the rest of the world. It is therefore fitting that we begin our program year with a ritual that reminds us of our interconnectedness to each other and to all beings through water. Water that has the power to heal, to wash away the mistakes of yesterday, and to move forward, striving to live our potential of making the world a better place for all. It is this sort of outpouring that renews our faith in the human spirit. It renews our spirit to know that despite all the political and societal divisiveness in the world, there is still an overwhelming evidence that what our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors taught us is true, that people by their very nature are good, and that the force of love is the force that unites us. Our continued prayer is that we find ways to encourage each other in drawing out each other's goodness and to reduce harm caused by assumption, judgment, and unproductive conflict. Just as I see that there are many things to divide us, I also see love and kindness alive in the world today when we see people who come rushing to the aid of people in the aftermath of earthquakes and other natural disasters. I see people around me who are willing to do the challenging work of self-reflection and engaging in an effort to dismantle injustice and privilege and to bring healthy, kind, and fair connectiveness among all people based on respect. So as we begin this program year together, may each of us find ways to listen to the wisdom of water and to the Mother of Earth. May we let their wisdom inform us and move into action to reduce the warming of our planet, to build better connections among people. May we seek to be like water and not only give loving, kind, and life-giving energy to each other, but to learn to receive it as well. By being present, compassionate, and loving justice, being loving, justice-seeking people that we are, may we continue to come together to support and encourage each other as we grow. Blessed be. And now for something completely different. Karen, our Director of Spiritual Exploration, is going to lead us in bringing some moisture into this room.
That's exactly what we need. More moisture. Good morning. As you said, my name is Karen, and I'm going to lead us in a rainstorm meditation to kind of bring us into the moment where we're doing all of our water celebrations. So we're going to start with a moment of silence, like at the beginning of a rainstorm. And then I'm going to be doing some motions, and I'd like you to follow the motion that I'm doing as I come in front of you, and keep doing it until I come back again, and then do the thing that I'm doing then. And it's going to provide a wave of sound that is going to go back and forth through the sanctuary. So we're going to start with silence.
Thank you, Karen, for that wonderful virtual rainstorm. That sounds so real. I'm just always amazed at how real that sounds. Yeah. So, in a few minutes after our special music, we will move into our water communion ritual, and we will begin with calling out each cardinal direction and some of the attributes of spiritual wisdom that each direction holds. As we call out that direction, John and I will invite people to share the sample of water that they bought with them this morning and say a few words about the way that water connects with the spiritual attributes of that particular direction. I do have a slide that we'll show later to, if you need a little bit of help, if you miss the words, you can actually see and get a feel for what it is. If you forgot to bring your water, that's not a problem. We have some water here, some surrogate water, and we'll allow you to use that as well. We will do one direction at a time, so that way we don't have a huge queue that people have to stand in line through the whole service for. And as we do this, I'm hoping that it'll also help us create a little space through the ritual of repetition. And we'll also provide a little space between groups so we can just kind of let what people have said kind of wash over us a little bit. Now, if you're not sure which direction you want to share your water from, just follow your instinct. There is no right and wrong in this ritual. The water communion thought police are on vacation today. So you can just pick a direction based on what is the shortest or longest queue, or you can choose it in relationship to the geographical distance from or direction from the church here, or whatever moves you. As with all sharing in the service, we ask that you be mindful of your sharing and try to keep it as brief as you can so everybody has a chance to speak, but we also want you to be able to express yourself fully. So please hold both of those dynamics in your sharing. Also want to affirm that it's also okay to put water in silence. You don't have to speak if you don't wish to. So you can participate in that way as well. With that, I'm going to invite the choir and Jack to bring our special music, and we'll move into our water communion ceremony.
Of the running way to
Thank you to our choir. It's so good to hear your voices again. I miss that. I also want to let people know who are joining us online, if you have water to share from the different directions, you can type your message into chat and we will be able to read that for you and put some water in the bowl. We'll begin our ritual by seating our collective bowl with water, some of the sacred water that has been saved from previous water communions. This has been a tradition that goes back from even before I was here, came here as your minister, and it's a tradition that links our past to our present, which sounds a little horrendous at the moment. But it's a tradition that links our past to our present and into our future as we move together into the coming year. So John, could you just put a little bit of that into our center bowl? Good.
Waters to the east. You bring us the rising sun and the infinite possibilities of new days, beginnings, and birth. You bring with you the element air that gently encourages spiritual growth, intelligence, and a gentle force for change. The experience of growth or change in your life, please bring your water forward at this time and place it in the eastern bowl and briefly share your experience.
I bring water from Ferry Beach, where the sun rises, and it's just beautiful. And I'm not thinking.
I bring water from the Penobscot River right around Costigan, where there are lots of islands, and it's quite an experience over there among the islands that the Indians own.
This water represents 37 years of going to our island on Branch Lake. So 37 years, bringing the kids and now the grandkids swimming to our precious island.
My water is from Mooselook-McGuntick Lake and so many lakes all throughout Maine, and especially the New Beginning is many times when I would be swimming, I would do long swims and above, a bald eagle would be above, and I knew it was my father. I was like, great dad, you're really living life, just flying free. Even yesterday I was on Brewer Lake, and he was there, and so thanks, Dad, for reminding me of flying free when I'm swimming.
I bring water from two places, one from Coldstream Lake, where we spent several days with our grandson and daughter and son-in-law and had a wonderful time, and also from our home, New Beginning in terms of kind of retirement, kind of scaling down a little, big change for us.
This water is from the Stillwater River, where our son organized community paddling every Thursday night all summer.
Hi, I'm Valerie, and I'm also putting in water from the west. I'm sorry, from the east, right? Actually, the east and the west, because of New Beginnings and having had a really great road trip this summer, seeing, relatives in Arkansas, on a lake in the Ozarks there, and in another lake in Georgia. But the New Beginnings piece, I think is especially in my heart for our daughter Emma, who at this moment is driving by themselves from Bangor to Riverside, California, where they're going to be starting a 2-year master's program in script writing and performance. So I'm just holding my breath the whole time.
Hello, I bring some moon water that I created under a Scorpio full moon with the intention of transformation and new beginnings earlier in this season. So, and my daughter is going to help me contribute.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, there we go.
Anyone else thirsty?
One online offering from Leanne Grogan. I bring water from our ancient ancestors' wells in Ireland.
Thanks for the waters of the Penjawak wetlands to provide a great deal of economic diversity to our local environment.
And I'm going to add some water to our Eastern bowl to symbolize water from the little pond in St. Peter, Romania, the homeland of our Unitarian ancestors. That's where Unitarianism as we know it began, and I had a wonderful visit this summer meeting some of the people who are ancestors of those people, and it was quite a thrill being a lifelong UU to have that experience. Waters to the south, you bring us fire and the heat of passion. You bring to us learnings that come from difficulties, from turmoil, struggle, and suffering. You challenge us and sometimes wash away our sense of self-confidence and make us question our own beliefs. Sometimes these changes make us stronger and renew our hope, and sometimes these challenges wash away our hope, leaving us raw and worn out, forcing us to start over. I'm going to ask John to seed our southern bowl. with water from the previous water communion. Yeah. And Atticus, can you bring up the second slide for the south? There should be a slide in there for the south. There we go. If the water that you bring today is a symbol of struggle, of hard times or difficult learning, please bring your water forward at this time and briefly share the wisdom that this water holds for you. Anyone? Linda is sharing from the south, water from St. Joseph's Hospital, which sustained her after her emergency surgery, mostly in the form of ice chips. At a time of pain and crisis, she said, I was overwhelmed by loving care and compassion of the medical staff, her family, and her friends. She says, I am blessed. So could you add some water to the south for Linda?
I'm Francis, and I'm going to share water symbolic of the week I spent with Ed and Silas down at Ferry Beach. It was a very important time, and it's taken me many years to kind of understand for myself what it means for me to go on vacation for a week, what that means. And so for me, going on vacation means for a week I can do whatever I want, and I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I can do whatever I want to do, and I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And it's taken me many years to realize that it's just such a precious time, so important, and so much renewal and so much to look forward to going back every year.
They also just resetting. Okay, there we go. Vivian Ritchie shared that she wants to share water from the only UU camp in Canada, where she just returned from a recent retreat. How wonderful. And I think that was meant to go into the East Bowl, if you can do that. Right here. Yeah. Okay.
Waters to the west. Waters to the west, you speak to us in movement, intuition, and visions of things that yet may be. You help us remember our loved ones who've passed, dreams and memories, and the need to forgive and let go the things that hold us back from being ourselves. We experience you in the sunsets and the time of fulfillment that brings the joy of accomplishment at the day's end. If the water you bring today symbolizes dreams fulfilled, reconciliation, intuition, reconnection with loved ones, visions or prayers for things to come, please bring your water forward and place it in the western bowl as you briefly share the significance this water holds for you.
My water from the west is from New Mexico. My water from the west is from New Mexico and also Stoneham in western Maine, where I reconnected with a lot of friends, met some new ones, and regained a lot of hope for everything.
Good morning. This water symbolizes several things. One is the water from Key West and a beautiful vacation visit with my children for 2 weeks that Susan and I spent early in the summer. It also symbolizes the water from Branch Lake, which is a sacred and very peaceful place for us during the summer.
And a choir retreat, not to be beat.
And it also symbolizes water from Kirby and Joni's pool for their wonderful pool party this summer that is ever so enjoyable every year.
Our water today is from the west. It started out with a very rainy summer that I didn't think we'd get out much, but we ended up going to 3 ponds, 2 pools, and Ferry Beach, of course. And Julian got to go with the youth group by himself, and that was very special. And Cassandra got to drive the boat. She's right over there waving. She got to drive the boat on the lake where the boys fished. And what it symbolizes to me is that even though I didn't want to get up, I didn't want to put on my suit, I didn't want to get food ready, blah, 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 that I got up and got going anyways. And that's what it means to me to be in water and create memories with my family.
Hi, this is water from the west, from the Ottawa River, where I spent 5 days with a very dear friend just north of where my mom lives on a little town called Quillan, and also from the Rideau River, where those two join, is where the city of Ottawa is, and my mom is here with me today, so that is extra special. It's also water from the north, so I'm going to cheat, from 2 lakes in Maine, Clear Lake and Pleasant Lake, where Mark and I spent 5 days with some dear friends. Always a time of renewal, very primitive camping. We did a lot of canoeing, a little swimming, listened to the birds. We identified 5 species of amphibians that had not been recorded in that area before, and 2 species of bumblebees.
This water is from San Francisco. It's in honor of my brother as he passed on to another life. And he's doing well in his other life.
I'm Rissa, and we are bringing water from the land that we go to in Michigan every year. And we created an event this year where 150 women came and sang and actually got continuing education credits for workshops on healing and other spiritual things. And it was an amazing spirit-filled week, and I am so grateful to be able to be part of that.
It's also from the lakes and ocean beaches in Maine where we love to swim, most especially Craig Pond. And our little blow-up hot tub in our backyard where we spent some time and had a lovely retreat with Women with Wings who is celebrating 30 years of singing together this year, this October. So.
I bring water from the Charles River in Boston, where I took a duck boat ride 2 weeks ago. We didn't get to drive the duck boat, but we had a good time anyway. We were there to get my daughter Karina moved into her college dorm right on the banks of the Charles River, and so we now have a half-empty nest, but we celebrate Karina's new beginning.
Hi, I'm Linda, and I bring water from the land we live on, which nourishes us and all beings on it.
Waters to the north, you bring to us attributes of being centered and grounded. Your cool waters run still and deep. You remind us to look deep within ourselves for guidance and understanding. Your spaciousness and clarity afford us a greater perspective on how things are. You bring us awareness of the interconnectedness of all beings and how our actions send ripples out into the world, ripples that affect others and bring a deeper sense of meaning and maturity to our lives. If the water that you brought today symbolizes wisdom that you have discovered within yourself through greater self-awareness, perspective, or a clearer sense of interconnection, or you haven't figured out where to put your water yet, please come forward at this time and briefly share the wisdom that this water symbolizes for you.
Hello, I'm Eleanor, and I bring you waters. I'm pretending I'm in a UU church, maybe in Portsmouth, because I bring you waters from beautiful Casco Bay with its Calendar Islands, where I was so lucky as a child that I had a little sailboat when I was 14, which I learned to sail, and the bay was mine. And it just was glorious, and I learned so much from that. Some of my children became fishermen in Casco Bay, and sadly, a son died there the day after Christmas, putting his boat away from the winter. And those waters still hold him. His body was never found. So Casco Bay represents to me the great eternal mother, as well as a very blessed childhood. So I bring you waters from Wonderful Casco Bay.
My name is Natalie, and I bring virtual waters from Orono. In Orono at Derigo Pines, there's a small pond called Dearborn Pond. And my husband and I live in one of the cottages that surround that pond. And we get a lot of peace and solitude from that pond.
Hi, I'm Lori, and I'm Phyllis. Phyllis is home with COVID. So yes, Phyllis, I'm gonna do you first. She brought waters and this beautiful little jar that she put some shells on top of, so it's very cool. Here's what she has to say. Waters of the North, for connecting with the ancient stories and spirits of Ireland, for Cape Cod, for swimming in warm seas and family love and belonging, for Iceland, for growing self-confidence and self-discovery and connection with Earth's majesty and powers. This water is for Phyllis. And this water is for me. This water is from Bangor, our beautiful city, the one that I just love that I'm here. I love Maine and the fact that there is so much water. And this year, I looked deep within. I asked what my calling could be now that I'm retired and I needed something wonderful to do. And I was led to join the Welcoming Immigrant Neighbors program, and I have a whole new family. I even bought a van so we can all fit in one car at the same time. It's a family of 6 with one on the way at the beginning of October. It has opened my heart. It has brought challenges. It has filled all my time. And it has just been maybe the wisest thing I've ever done. So blessed be. Here's to my family from Syria and the waters of Bangor that nourish us all.
Now I'm going to Interesting. Okay. It seems like it's automatically shutting itself off at times. I'm going to ask John to pour the waters from each bowl into the center bowl as I say some words. So, John, let's begin with the East. Spirit of the East, the rising sun, and the hope for new days and infinite possibilities, we commit your waters to the communal bowl. Waters from the south, from your passion and heat and the challenges and turmoil that help lead to new growth, we commit your waters to our communal bowl. Waters to the west, your intuition and your guide of visions of things that may be, that have yet to be. we commit your water to our communal bowl. Waters to the north, we commit you to our communal bowl and your wisdom of that is self-sustaining. We're changing mics here midstream. Can we do something about that hum? That's better. Okay, let's try that. Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Dear waters, sacred waters, waters that move through and among us and bring us in contact with each other as we hear the many ways that you have touched people's lives over the course of the last year, and how you feed the dreams and hopes of our year to come. May we hold the wisdom of your fluidity, touching many diverse places in our lives and our world, and showing us the value of all things and how you magnify things when we look at you from underwater. For the times that are stormy, for the times that are tranquil and calm, and for the many experiences that continue to unfold. Let us give thanks, and let us remember to continue to hold you and to draw on you for nourishment and moisture, just as we draw on each other and this beloved community to continue to help us grow and to be whole. Blessed be. Amen. I now invite you to join in singing our closing hymn.
Rise, hope of the ages.
As we extinguish our Unitarian Universalist chalice flame, symbol of faith, hope, love, and connection, and the fluidity and nourishment that touches all, let us be reminded that although our worship has come to an end, our service to each other and to the world has just begun. Blessed be. Please raise yourselves up and join in singing our benediction.